Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with a special double controversial view of Exorcist: The Beginning and Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. Controversial View is the series in which Jason and I watch controversial movies and discuss them, so you don't have to. Usually, we still recommend you check them out for yourself. Truthfully though, I want to start off this video by saying I am not a big fan of either of these. I actually find the backstory, or controversy as it is, far more interesting than either of the films. I do find it pretty fascinating, even if these aren't movies I'm likely to revisit all that often. Admittedly, these are the two Exorcist movies I've watched the least in the franchise, and that includes the newest, The Exorcist Believer, and even the ninth configuration, which I've watched more times this year than I've watched these two films in total. Still, I do suggest watching them if you haven't seen them, because you never know. You might love them, and I hope you do. Regardless, this isn't a review, it's a C-view, a controversial view. The reason why we are including both of these movies in this controversial view is because they go hand in hand. Both of these films are prequels to The Exorcist, and the studio never intended to make two of them. Even though Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, was released in 2005, a year after Exorcist: The Beginning, I'm going to start with that one anyway. Paul Schrader, the director of Dominion, was originally hired as the director of Exorcist: The Beginning, the original title of this film. But Morgan Creek ultimately rejected his psychological thriller approach. They felt it was commercially unmarketable. Based on this, the decision was made to extensively rewrite the script and reshoot the film. The changes didn't end there either. Several roles were recast, new characters were added, and Paul Schrader was fired as director. In his place, Renny Harlin was hired. Paul Schrader's version, which we now know as Dominion, was going to be released as a bonus feature on the DVD of Harlan's version. However, after Exorcist: The Beginning failed at the box office, Morgan Creek abandoned this idea. Instead, they allowed Paul Schrader to present his version at film festivals. In addition to that, they even gave it a small-scale theatrical release after all. Schrader was given no money for publicity or music production when Morgan Creek decided to release his version. He was only given $35,000 for visual effects and post-production costs. Despite this, William Peter Blatty, author of The Exorcist, supported this Dominion cut. He called it a handsome, classy, elegant piece of work. Unfortunately, I know a lot of other people would call it a piece of something else. Then we have Renny Harlin's version, Exorcist: The Beginning, which was released the year before, in 2004. Both William Peter Blatty and Paul Schrader were nearly kicked out of the movie's premiere for laughing too loud during the screening. Blatty said watching this film was his most humiliating professional experience. When Morgan Creek hired Renny Harlin to replace Paul Schrader, he told them that Schrader's version was complete crap and unsalvageable. He told them they'd be better off reshooting the entire thing. And to his shock, they agreed. Harlan was then offered an even bigger budget and bigger paycheck than was given to Schrader. Harlan obviously accepted the offer, and 90% of the movie was reshot. Nearly the entire cast, with the exception of Stellan Skarsgård, were unavailable for reshoots or simply refused to return out of loyalty to Paul Schrader. One of the reasons Paul Schrader was fired in the first place was for submitting a completed film lacking the bloody violence Morgan Creek felt the backers wanted. Schrader had already made it clear in interviews that he had set out to make more of a psychological drama rather than an all-out gore fest. Oddly, the trailer used for Harlan's reshot version was made up entirely of footage from Schrader's original cut. The studio spent millions of dollars to make a completely new film, but never updated the trailer. This whole story is bizarre, and the funniest thing is, both movies have the exact same score on IMDb. Exorcist: The Beginning has a rating of 5.1 out of 10. Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, has a rating of 5.1 out of 10. What are the odds? All those extra millions, for what? By the way, if you have seen these movies, which do you prefer? Exorcist: The Beginning, directed by Renny Harlin and released in 2004, or Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, directed by Paul Schrader and released in 2005. I'd really love to know your preference, so comment below and let me know. If you haven't seen them, well, you should probably give them a chance. But if not, that's fine. Jason and I watched them, so you don't have to. This is just my controversial view. Please be sure to check out Jason's as well. Which controversial movie will we view next? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.